Take a look at this. CNN now projects Joe Biden is the winner in
Michigan.
Michigan.
A look here. If you're Sanders, the numbers are not very friendly to you. It's Biden leads Sanders by 147 delegates.
To Guy Fawkes. Remember, this is all about November. These voters want to shut this thing down.
Well, so at this point, the chances of Bernie winning the nomination are starting to become slim to none. And it's time to start having some serious discussions about how this is going to look moving forward. Now, do I mean Bernie dropping out? No. I'm not talking about progressives evaluating their future. I'm talking about the Democratic Party as a whole evaluating their future. See, if we as a party are going to nominate Joe Biden, and that's what it's rapidly looking like it's heading towards, and this is, barring the total destruction of him in tonight's debate, that's a whole other discussion for another day. Let's establish the facts. So let's be clear. Regardless of what you've been told by the pundits of CNN or MSNBC or New York Times or whatever, Bernie Sanders is the better candidate. And not just on the issues, but in terms of beating Donald Trump. And this is a fact, not opinion. Understand something. I'm convinced that Joe Biden cannot beat Donald Trump. So buckle up and let me tell you why. Reason number one, look at the numbers. Why are people voting for Joe Biden? Because they're convinced he's the candidate who will beat Trump. Or actually, let's rephrase that. They've been convinced by the establishment media over and over and over again that he's the electable one. The only way to win is to run to the middle, abandon progressive principles. Progressive principles can't win. Those are all lies. Progressive principles are the only way that Democrats stand a chance of beating Donald Trump. And there is no better example of that than 2016. Who did we nominate in 2016? Hillary Clinton. Why did we nominate her? For the same reasons we're on track to nominate Joe. People were told that she was the only one who was electable. We must run in the middle. That's the winning strategy. Yet look what happened. Trump pointed to her corruption. Trump pointed to her terrible votes on trade deals, Wall Street, the Iraq War, etc. Trump painted her as the unprincipled, the lack of backbone careerist that she was. And he won the Midwest by a collective 70,000 votes and took the White House. And here's the deal. Joe is just Hillary 2.0. He has the same exact corruption and an even worse track record. He is on the floor of the Senate on record multiple times calling to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the VA. And that lack of progressive backbone will get exposed. Because understand something, progressive principles are popular. Overwhelmingly, 60% of people support tuition-free college and canceling debt. A majority of voters support Medicare for all. 80% of people want aggressive climate action. 80% of people despise endless wars overseas. They want the ultra-wealthy to pay their fair share of taxes. Those policies are overwhelmingly popular. So to win, you must run on them. That is the lesson of 2016. That is the lesson of today's politics. And that is what the Democratic establishment fails to comprehend time after time again. If you want to win, you must stand for something. You must stand for the people. You fight for the issues nearest and dearest to their hearts. They want jobs. They want health care. They want their children in decent schools and colleges. So fight for those priorities. And who is fighting for those priorities? Who is standing boldly on progressive principles? Bernie. Who stands for nothing and has repeatedly held the middle finger to the progressive base? Joe Biden. You cannot win by simply pointing out that you're better than the other guy. Democrats must stand on progressive issues. And that's reason number one that Joe cannot beat Trump. He has no progressive / populist backbone. He will run on the same corporatist record as Hillary. Trump will expose that record. He did it in 2016. He will do it again. All right. Reason number two. Bernie has the unique ability to attract young voters. I would know because I'm one of them. And it's clear, abundantly clear. Look at the numbers. In some states, Bernie is literally getting 80% support from the youth vote. We love him. He inspires us Because as I said, he stands for something. He stands for our rights, our freedoms, balancing the scales of this rigged system. He has the best climate action plan, with the Green New Deal by a mile. His plan to cancel student debt and fund free public college through a tax on Wall Street speculation, it's overwhelmingly popular with young voters for obvious reasons. And above all, he represents the solution to all of the problems that this nation has dealt the youth. We've dealt with years of corruption and a lack of backbone amongst our politicians. For years, we decided we're done with the political process. We're not going to vote. Then here comes Bernie Sanders. We love him. And he's the only candidate. This is similar to Obama in 2008 and 2012. He's the only candidate that can get the youth out to vote. The numbers show it. Yes, Joe does phenomenally well with older voters. But understand, much of that support is weak, automatic support. They simply want to see Trump out of office, and they've been told that Joe is the only candidate who can beat him. Wrong. You want to win? You turn out the youth. You turn out ages 18 to 45 in massive droves. Bernie's the only candidate equipped to do so. Older voters will turn out regardless of who the Democratic candidate is. That's clear in their voting patterns and motivations. They simply want to see Trump out of office, right? But if Bernie was perceived by the media as the most electable candidate, many of that automatic support was simply flipped to Bernie. But it's the youth who vote on principle. It's the youth who are inspired by this consistent and bold record of progressive action. And above all, if you want to win, that is what you need. You need the youth to vote. Bernie is the only candidate who will make it happen, because I promise you, and the numbers show this, if you give the youth another middle finger, yet another one, by nominating Joe Biden, because 4 years ago, y'all did the same exact thing in giving us Hillary Clinton, I guarantee you, the youth will not turn out to vote in large numbers, and that will equal a Donald Trump presidency. All right, and last and final point as to why Bernie is the only candidate to defeat Donald Trump, and this is probably the most obvious of all. Joe Biden, mentally, is a shell of his former self. And guys, I don't like to say this type of stuff, right? It's sad to see. And I don't know if it's dementia, Alzheimer's, or just a severe fall. I don't know what it is, but whatever. There is a clear cognitive decline with this man. Enough to where he can barely put together sentences.
Friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont? One of the things I'm proudest of is getting moved, getting control of the Paris Climate Accord. I'm the guy that came back after meeting with Deng Xiaoping and making the case that I believe China would join if we put pressure on them. Go to Joe 30330. Watch what happened when those kids from Parkland came up to see me when I was vice president. They went and some of you covered it. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And in the Democratic debates of the past that we've seen, Joe was able to hide his gaffes and his mental decline amongst a sea of 7 other candidates yapping, talking over each other. It was a food fight, right? There was a rumble at the playground. And especially the last debate, it was terrible. But this debate that we're going to have tonight is of incredible importance. Coronavirus has swept the nation. Many people are locked at home. They're scared and confused. And we're in the midst of a presidential election season, and it's going to be one-on-one Bernie versus Biden. Joe, I guarantee you, will not be able to withstand it. And even if he somehow by a miracle does, You then have to contend with multiple debates with Trump in the general election. Then there's nowhere to hide. It's just Joe Biden and his mistake-prone, gaffe-prone, declining mind versus the master of BS and bluster himself, Donald Trump. And that's a disaster in the making. Not to mention the countless gaffes on the ground with voters at rallies and town halls. It's a mess. It's a mess. We cannot nominate a man who is losing his mind. We can't. That is political suicide. You would be, in all likelihood, handing the election to Trump. And again, I want to reiterate, the man, I don't like to say this, he cannot put together coherent sentences. He will mess up epically, whether it's tonight or in the next 8 months till the general. So please, Democratic Party, do not make the mistake of nominating Joe Biden. Joe Biden cannot defeat Donald Trump. Nominating Bernie Sanders, regardless of if you agree with his policies 100% or not, that is the only way Democrats defeat Trump. His policies are overwhelmingly popular. That is undeniable. Look at the numbers. He does phenomenally well with independents. He's the most popular senator in the country, according to the polls. He is the only candidate who can turn out the youth vote in droves. And most of all, he is not losing his mind. So for those reasons and more, again, Bernie is the only path forward to defeat Donald Trump. And if you didn't have the facts before, I hope you do now. Okay, and just to close up here and conclude, I want y'all to understand that this election is so important. So important. The clock is ticking to act before our planet is destroyed by the climate crisis. Our schools are failing. Kids are graduating with trillions of dollars in debt. 500,000 people go bankrupt because of healthcare costs. If you want to take back the White House, and more than that, if you want to stop suffering under the weight of a rigged system and you create a better future for your family, you support Bernie Sanders. That is the way forward for this country.